Welcome back to Snipercade. Scary games, also known as horror video games, have long been a captivating genre for players who seek to explore the darker side of entertainment. With their eerie atmospheres, psychological tension, and spine-chilling gameplay, these games offer experiences that range from jump scares to slow-burn dread. But why do we, as players, willingly subject ourselves to fear and discomfort through interactive media? The appeal of scary games lies in the combination of adrenaline, storytelling, and the emotional release they provide, making them an increasingly popular form of entertainment. One of the primary reasons why scary games hold such a unique place in gaming culture is the adrenaline rush they provide. Fear triggers the body's fight or flight response, releasing adrenaline, which heightens our senses and prepares us for action. In horror games, this physiological reaction is deliberately induced by the game's atmosphere, tense moments, and unpredictable events. Whether it's the sudden appearance of an enemy, an ominous creak in the background, or a horrifying monster lurking in the dark, players experience a real physical reaction to the terror unfolding on screen. The sense of danger, even though virtual and controlled, can evoke strong feelings of excitement. The excitement comes from surviving these moments. Every narrow escape or successful battle against terrifying foes feels like a triumph. It's the same thrill that comes from riding a roller coaster or watching a horror movie in a dark theater. In a controlled environment, the danger feels exhilarating, and players crave that emotional intensity. Many horror games rely not just on physical threats but also on psychological horror, where fear stems from uncertainty, isolation, and the unknown. Titles like Silent Hill or Amnesia: The Dark Descent capitalize on this by creating unsettling atmospheres filled with mystery, eerie visuals, and strange events that unsettle the mind. The unknown is often scarier than any physical monster, as the mind races to fill in the gaps with its own terrifying ideas. By stripping away comfort, these games disorient players and create a sense of vulnerability. The player becomes unsure of what's real, questioning what is a threat and what is simply a trick of the mind. The inability to predict what will happen next can be more terrifying than any visual representation of horror. This form of terror is deeply psychological, and it lingers far beyond the game's conclusion. The interactive nature of video games sets them apart from other forms of horror media like films or books. Players are not just passive observers but active participants in the story. This immersion makes the fear feel more personal and intense. A scary game doesn't just tell you a horrifying story, it places you directly in the shoes of the protagonist, allowing you to make choices that can affect the outcome. The best horror games tend to have compelling narratives, rich lore, and complex characters that keep players engaged and invested. The sense of immersion is heightened when players can explore the environments in great detail, uncovering hidden secrets and piecing together the backstory of the terrifying world they inhabit. Games like Resident Evil and The Last of Us weave strong stories with fear-inducing gameplay mechanics that make the journey more emotionally engaging. The combination of a deep, interactive narrative and the fear of the unknown keeps players hooked. Every corner turned and every new plot twist increases the emotional stakes, making players feel both the terror and the relief of survival. Surprisingly, many players enjoy scary games because of the sense of accomplishment they offer. When facing seemingly insurmountable odds, beating a difficult level or defeating a terrifying boss can be incredibly satisfying. In a way, confronting and overcoming fear in these games becomes a rewarding experience. It offers catharsis, as players can release the tension they've built up throughout the game. Moreover, the fear experienced in these games often fades quickly after a successful moment or completion of a chapter, giving way to a sense of triumph. It's this sense of overcoming fear that appeals to many people and motivates them to continue playing, even when the terror becomes overwhelming. There's also a social aspect to scary games, with many players sharing their experiences or watching others play through platforms like YouTube or Twitch. The communal aspect of reacting to a scary game together adds an additional layer of fun to the experience. For some, scary games serve as a form of escapism. They provide a controlled environment where players can experience fear without any real-world consequences. Life can be stressful and filled with uncertainty, and many people enjoy the opportunity to engage in a world where fear is not only safe but also entertaining. The immersive nature of horror games allows players to escape the pressures of their everyday lives and temporarily step into a world where the stakes are high, but they are ultimately in control. For others, these games offer a space to confront deeper personal fears or anxieties. The immersive and sometimes cathartic experience of playing horror games can serve as a form of exposure therapy, helping some individuals gradually confront their own fears in a controlled setting. The allure of scary games is multifaceted. They offer an adrenaline rush, psychological intrigue, immersive storytelling, and a safe space to confront fear. These games don't just frighten, they provide an emotional release, an intense challenge, and a rewarding sense of accomplishment. For many players, Horror games offer an unparalleled experience that taps into primal emotions, giving them a thrill that no other genre can quite replicate. Whether it's the tension, the atmosphere, or the sense of survival, scary games provide an experience that continues to captivate and terrify players around the world.